The 2000s were an exciting time for tech innovation, with bold ideas promising to change the world. But not every product lived up to the hype. From futuristic gadgets to overambitious designs, many products from this era failed to achieve mass market success. Whether it was the Segway PT or the Motorola ROKRE1, these innovations were ahead of their time or simply lacked the right execution. Join us as we explore 24 of the most memorable tech failures of the 2000s and see how they shaped the future of technology, even in their downfall. Sega Dreamcast. When the Sega Dreamcast launched in 1999, it promised to revolutionize home gaming with cutting-edge technology and innovative features. It introduced built-in modem support for online gaming, a visual memory unit, VMU, with a mini screen and a strong library of games that included classics like Shenmue and Soul Calibur. The Dreamcast design was ahead of its time, and it earned critical acclaim for its graphics and gameplay. However, despite its strong start, the Dreamcast struggled to maintain momentum. Sega's previous hardware missteps, like the Sega Saturn, had already damaged consumer trust. And when the PlayStation 2 arrived in 2000 with DVD playback and enormous third-party support, the Dreamcast was quickly overshadowed. The Dreamcast was discontinued in 2001, and Sega exited the console business. While the Dreamcast is remembered fondly by gaming enthusiasts, it was ultimately a casualty of fierce competition and an industry that moved faster than Sega could keep up. Apple Power Mac G4 Cube. In the year 2000, Apple introduced the Power Mac G4 Cube, a bold attempt to redefine the desktop computer with a sleek, fanless, and compact design. It was housed in a striking 8-inch acrylic cube and was praised for its minimalistic elegance. The G4 Cube featured powerful hardware for the time, including the G4 processor, making it capable of professional-level performance. Despite its innovative design, the G4 Cube had some major flaws. At a price significantly higher than comparable Macs, it lacked expandability and faced technical issues such as hairline cracks in its acrylic case. The absence of a fan, while appealing aesthetically, raised concerns about overheating, which limited its performance over time. Apple quickly discontinued the G4 Cube in 2001, less than a year after its release. While it remains a cult favorite among design enthusiasts, its commercial failure serves as a reminder that great design doesn't always guarantee success. Sony Minidisk Walkman. In the early 2000s, Sony's Minidisk Walkman was seen as a revolutionary product in the world of portable audio. With its ability to offer digital recording and re-recording, it was marketed as an alternative to CDs and tapes. The Minidisc format provided superior sound quality and allowed users to edit and rearrange tracks directly on the device. However, despite its innovative features, the Minidisc Walkman never gained widespread adoption outside of Japan. One major drawback was the reliance on proprietary software like Sonic Stage, which made managing digital music cumbersome. As MP3 players, like the iPod, gained popularity with their large storage capacities and drag-and-drop file management, the Minidisc Walkman quickly became obsolete. Sony's continued reliance on the Minidisc format kept it from pivoting to MP3 players, and by the mid-2000s, the Minidisc Walkman had faded into obscurity. It remains a symbol of Sony's struggle to keep up with the digital music revolution. Kodak EasyShare Printer Dock. Launched in the early 2000s, the Kodak EasyShare Printer Dock was an attempt to simplify the photo printing process. It allowed users to print photos directly from digital cameras or memory cards without the need for a computer. The device featured a dye sublimation printer that could produce 4x6 prints in under a minute. While it was a convenient solution for casual photographers who wanted instant prints, the EasyShare Printer Dock struggled to maintain its appeal as the digital photography landscape evolved. As smartphones with high-quality cameras became more widespread, the need for a bulky single-purpose photo printer diminished. Additionally, the cost of consumables, such as the printer's specialized paper and ink cartridges, made it a less attractive option. Kodak's inability to adapt to the rapidly changing market and the rise of wireless printing ultimately led to the EasyShare Printer Dock's decline and discontinuation. Sony Abo ERS7. Sony's Abo ERS7, released between 2003 and 2006, was one of the most advanced robotic pets ever made. It featured a sophisticated AI system that allowed it to recognize faces, respond to voice commands, and even develop a personality over time. Equipped with cameras, microphones, and touch sensors, the Aibo could interact with its environment in a lifelike manner, offering a glimpse into the future of home robotics. Despite its impressive capabilities, the Aibo was priced over $2,000, which made it inaccessible for most consumers. It also required high maintenance and lacked practical functionality, which made it more of a luxury item than a household pet. Sony discontinued the Aibo in 2006 as part of cost-cutting measures. However, the concept of the Aibo lived on, and in 2018, Sony reintroduced a more advanced cloud-connected version, but at an even steeper price. While it may not have revolutionized robotics, the Aibo remains a fascinating piece of tech history. Nokia Endgage. Released in 2003, the Nokia Endgage was a bold attempt to combine a handheld gaming console with a mobile phone. With Bluetooth multiplayer, MP3 playback, and mobile calling capabilities, it aimed to serve as a one-stop device for entertainment on the go. Despite its innovative concept, the Endgage struggled due to its awkward design and poor ergonomics. The phone was infamous for its side-talking design, which made it uncomfortable to use as a mobile phone, and the button layout was unintuitive for gaming. Moreover, the need to remove the battery to change game cartridges further frustrated users. While the Endgage offered a decent game library, it was far from the dominant handheld gaming device it hoped to be. Nokia released an improved version, the Endgage QD, in 2004, but by then, the damage was done. The Endgage was discontinued in 2005, leaving behind a legacy of innovation that was ultimately hindered by flawed execution. Dell DJ. In 2003, Dell entered the portable music player market with the Dell DJ, an MP3 player aimed at challenging Apple's iPod, offering competitive storage capacity and support for MP3 and WMA files. It seemed like a strong alternative to the iPod, especially for budget-conscious consumers. However, despite its solid features, the Dell DJ never managed to attract the loyal fan base that Apple's iPod enjoyed. The device lacked the sleek design, intuitive interface, and seamless ecosystem that made the iPod a cultural icon. Early models featured a monochrome display, and Dell's reliance on clunky software like Music Match Jukebox didn't compare well to iTunes. Additionally, Dell's marketing push was minimal, and the device struggled to build brand loyalty. By 2006, the Dell DJ had quietly faded from the market, and Dell discontinued the product line. In retrospect, the Dell DJ was a valiant attempt but failed to carve out a place in an already saturated market dominated by the iPod. Motorola ROKRE E1. In 2005, Motorola and Apple teamed up to create the ROKRE E1, the first mobile phone to integrate iTunes. With hopes of merging Apple's iconic music ecosystem with mobile technology, it seemed like a groundbreaking product at the time. Unfortunately, the execution left much to be desired. The ROKRE E1 was limited to just 100 songs, a stark contrast to the vast library available on the iTunes Store, and transfers were painfully slow. The phone's bulky design and outdated interface further hindered its appeal. Though it was the first attempt to blend music and mobile tech, it was quickly overshadowed by Apple's growing interest in creating its own smartphone. The ROKRE E1 marked an important first step in mobile music convergence, but ultimately failed to strike a chord with consumers, making it more of a precursor to the iPhone than a product in its own right. Sony Milo. In 2006, Sony introduced the Milo, My Life Online, a device targeted at tech-savvy teens who were looking for a new way to stay connected. This Wi-Fi-enabled communication device, shaped like a compact slide-out keyboard PDA, allowed users to access instant messaging platforms like AIM, MSN, and Google Talk without requiring a cellular plan. It also supported music playback, web browsing, and photo storage, offering a complete multimedia experience in one device. Despite its cool factor, the Milo's downfall was swift. It lacked mobile network connectivity, meaning it was useless. Without Wi-Fi, a major flaw for a device meant to be portable. Additionally, as smartphones began to gain prominence, offering far superior functionality, the Milo quickly became obsolete. Despite a second-generation upgrade in 2008, the device never gained significant traction and was quietly discontinued. While it was an interesting concept, the rise of smartphones left little room for a niche device like the Milo. LG Chocolate. Launched in 2006, the LG Chocolate was part of the Black Label series and gained attention for its sleek, glossy black finish and touch-sensitive red-lit keys. It was a stylish feature phone that appealed to fashion-conscious users and was marketed heavily as a high-tech device with MP3 playback, a vibrant screen, and an attractive design. However, as the iPhone was released in 2007, the Chocolate's appeal quickly waned. While it was a stylish phone, it lacked the app ecosystem, internet internet capabilities and touchscreen functionality that consumers were starting to expect from their devices. In addition, the chocolate's basic specs and lack of modern smartphone features left it feeling outdated. LG released follow-up models in 2009, but by then, smartphones had redefined the mobile market. The chocolate's success was short-lived, and the series faded into nostalgia, remembered as one of the last standout feature phones before the smartphone revolution. Palm Treo 700W. The Palm Treo 700W, launched in 2006, was one of the first smartphones to merge phone functionality with email, web browsing, and a touchscreen interface powered by Windows Mobile. Aimed primarily at business users, the Treo 700W promised to bring productivity to the palm of your hand, allowing access to Microsoft Exchange and multitasking. However, despite its innovative design and features for the time, the Treo 700W faced challenges. Its bulky form, sluggish performance, and limited app support made it difficult to compete with the sleek and fast-growing smartphone market. As the iPhone revolutionized the industry with its smooth touchscreen interface and App Store ecosystem in 2007, the Treo 700W quickly became outdated. Though it played a significant role in the early smartphone evolution, Palm's inability to keep up with the iPhone's advancements meant the Treo 700W was soon overshadowed and ultimately discontinued. Apple iPod HiFi. Released in 2006, the iPod HiFi was Apple's attempt to dominate the speaker dock market by offering high-fidelity audio for iPods. With its minimalist design and signature Apple aesthetic, the HiFi promised to deliver superior sound quality for iPod users. Despite its solid build and sleek appearance, the iPod HiFi was a commercial failure. Priced at $349, it failed to impress audiophiles who found its sound quality underwhelming compared to similarly priced competitors. Moreover, the lack of wireless connectivity, reliance on a physical dock, and absence of additional features like radio or app control made it feel outdated even by mid-2000s standards. Though Apple's brand was booming at the time, the iPod HiFi didn't live up to the hype, and it was quietly discontinued in 2007 after just 18 months on the market. HD DVD. In 2006, the high-definition disc format war took center stage, with HD DVD and Blu-ray battling for supremacy. Backed by Toshiba and supported by companies like Microsoft, Paramount, and Universal, HD DVD seemed like a strong contender, offering high-definition visuals at a lower production cost than Blu-ray. However, the format war quickly turned in Blu-ray's favor, with key Hollywood studios like Disney and Warner Brothers siding with Blu-ray and widespread retailer support. HD DVD failed to secure enough traction in the market. Consumers, confused by the competing formats, largely chose Blu-ray for its superior content exclusivity and growing library. By 2008, HD DVD had lost the battle, and the format was officially discontinued. While HD DVD had technical merit, it serves as a prime example of how market support often trumps innovation in consumer technology. Gizmando. The Gizmando, released in 2005, was an ambitious handheld device that aimed to do it all. It offered GPS navigation, text messaging, a camera, and multimedia playback all in one device. The concept was ahead of its time, targeting users who wanted a multifunctional gadget in their pocket. However, the Gizmando quickly faltered due to several major issues. Its tiny game library, buggy performance, and steep price tag made it an unappealing option for consumers. Additionally, the company behind it, Tiger Telematics, was plagued by financial mismanagement and criminal scandals, which further damaged its reputation. Despite its flashy marketing and celebrity endorsements, the Gizmando failed to make a lasting impact and was discontinued within a year of its launch. It's remembered not for its innovation, but for its spectacular implosion under mismanagement. Palm Folio. In 2007, Palm introduced the Palm Folio, a device that was supposed to be the perfect mobile companion for Palm smartphones. The Folio was a lightweight sub-notebook that promised to sync seamlessly with Palm smartphones for email and document editing. Weighing just 2.5 pounds with a 10-inch screen, it offered instant-on functionality and ran a Linux-based OS. On paper, the Folio seemed like an excellent idea, combining the portability of a laptop with the connectivity of a smartphone. However, it raised immediate questions. Why buy a device that relied on your smartphone, especially with netbooks and smartphones becoming more advanced? At a price point of $500, the Folio lacked compelling features that would justify its cost. Palm canceled the Folio just weeks before launch, citing the need to refocus on its core smartphone business. The Folio became a cautionary tale about tech misjudgment in an ever-evolving market. Google Wave. Launched in 2009, Google Wave was an ambitious Attempt to reinvent communication. The platform combined email, instant messaging, and document collaboration in real time, allowing users to edit and interact with content live. It promised to merge various forms of communication into a single, seamless platform. Despite initial excitement, Google Wave quickly became one of the most famous failed innovations in tech history. Its interface was complex and unintuitive, making it difficult for users to grasp the potential of the platform. Furthermore, there was little guidance on how to effectively use Wave, and third-party adoption was limited. By 2010, Google had abandoned the project, and Wave was officially discontinued in 2012. While it was a technological marvel, its failure demonstrated how even innovative concepts can struggle if they don't align with user needs or habits. Microsoft's Zune. In 2009, Microsoft launched the Zune, a direct competitor to Apple's iPod with a sleek design, high-definition touchscreen, and wireless syncing capabilities. Initially, the Zune had promise, especially with features like the Zune Marketplace and its unique subscription model. However, it couldn't compete with the iPod's established market dominance. Despite its impressive hardware and features, the Zune was stifled by limited third-party app support and a smaller content library. Microsoft's inconsistent marketing, combined with the iPod's entrenched position and the rise of smartphones, ultimately rendered the Zune obsolete. The Zune line was discontinued in 2011, and it remains one of Microsoft's rare missteps in consumer electronics. While it had loyal fans, the Zune was simply unable to challenge Apple's iPod, which had already become a cultural phenomenon. Sony PSP Go. Released in 2009, the PlayStation Portable Go, PSP Go, was a sleek all-digital handheld gaming console that aimed to remove the need for physical media by relying entirely on digital downloads from the PlayStation Network. While the compact design and forward-thinking digital model seemed like a smart move, the PSP Go faced several challenges. First, it was criticized for being incompatible with users' existing UMD Universal Media Disc game collections, which was a major drawback for many gamers. Additionally, the higher price point compared to other PSP models and the limited digital content available at the time left the PSP Go struggling to gain traction. Despite its innovative concept, it was overshadowed by the rapid rise of smartphones with gaming capabilities. The PSP Go was discontinued by 2011, marking another failed attempt in Sony's handheld gaming space. Sharp Zarus. The Sharp Zarus was a Linux-based personal digital assistant (PDA) introduced in the early 2000s. Unlike Palm's OS or Microsoft's Pocket PC, the Zarus offered more customization and an open-source approach, making it attractive to tech enthusiasts and developers. However, its complexity and steep learning curve made it difficult for the average user to adopt. The Zarus also struggled with limited software availability compared to Palm and Microsoft PDAs, and as smartphones began integrating PDA functions, the market for standalone PDAs quickly vanished. Despite its innovative Linux foundation, the Zarus failed to achieve widespread popularity and was discontinued by the mid-2000s. It's a prime example of how even powerful customizable devices can falter if they don't appeal to the broader market or meet consumer expectations. Sony Cly PEG NX75. Released in 2002, the Sony Cly PEG NX75 was a high-end PDA aimed at tech-savvy professionals. Running on Palm OS 5, it combined standard PDA features like contacts and calendars with multimedia capabilities, including audio and video playback, a built-in rotating camera, and expandable memory storage. While the Cly's hardware was impressive, the device's high price, chunky design, and limited battery life made it a tough sell. At a time when simpler, more affordable PDAs were gaining popularity, the Cly NX75 struggled to find its niche. Furthermore, the rapid growth of smartphones, which integrated the functionalities of PDAs with cellular features, made the Cly obsolete in a rapidly evolving market. Sony eventually phased out the Cly line as smartphones became the dominant personal computing device. Casio Exylum. In the early 2000s, Casio's Exylum series of digital cameras made waves by offering ultra-compact designs with impressive image quality for their time. These cameras were particularly popular among casual photographers who valued portability and the ability to take quick snapshots. The Exylum's rapid startup times and sleek design made it a favorite for on-the-go photography. However, the rise of smartphones with increasingly sophisticated cameras marked the beginning of the end for standalone digital cameras. As smartphones began offering better cameras, along with the convenience of an all-in-one device, the need for a separate camera diminished. Despite some innovations, Casio couldn't keep pace with the smartphone revolution, and by 2018, it exited the digital camera market. The Exylum is is now a relic of a time when portable digital cameras were the go-to choice for casual photographers. Sony Minidisk. Sony's Minidisk was initially launched in 1992 as a digital alternative to CDs, offering users the ability to record, edit, and re-record audio. By the early 2000s, the Minidisk Walkman was marketed as a compact, high-quality alternative to CDs and MP3 players. In 2004, the high-MD version boosted storage to 1 GB and allowed PC file transfers, making the format more versatile. Despite these advancements, Minidisc couldn't compete with the growing popularity of MP3 players like the iPod, which offered larger storage capacities, seamless digital music library integration, and the ability to transfer files without proprietary software. Sony's reliance on the Minidisc format and its complex system of transferring files made it difficult for the format to gain widespread global adoption. By the mid-2000s, the Minidisc was rendered obsolete and Sony eventually discontinued the format. Nintendo EReader. Released in 2002, the Nintendo EReader was an accessory for the Game Boy Advance that allowed users to scan specially printed cards to unlock mini games, levels, or in-game items. It was a unique concept that blended physical and digital interaction, offering gamers new ways to interact with their favorite games. However, the e-reader faced several problems. The process of scanning multiple cards in sequence to load content was slow and cumbersome, and it required additional hardware like link cables to work properly. Furthermore, the lack of third-party support and limited game functionality prevented the e-reader from achieving mainstream success. While it attracted a small group of collectors and Nintendo enthusiasts, it ultimately failed to make a lasting impact, and the e-reader was quietly discontinued in 2004. Segway PT. In 2001, the Segway PT personal transporter was unveiled with massive hype, promising to revolutionize urban transportation. A two-wheeled, self-balancing electric vehicle, the Segway used advanced gyroscopic sensors and was marketed as a sustainable alternative to walking or biking. Despite its technological brilliance, the Segway PT quickly became a commercial disappointment. The high cost, regulatory hurdles, and limited practicality in everyday life made it an unappealing option for the general public. Additionally, its odd appearance and lack of widespread infrastructure to support it contributed to its failure. While the Segway found niche applications in malls and guided tours, it never achieved the mass adoption that was initially predicted. The Segway's ambitious promise ultimately fell short of transforming urban transport, and production officially ended in 2020, making it a symbol of the gap between bold innovation and real-world usability. These 25 products may not have succeeded, but they were important steps in shaping the tech landscape. They taught us valuable lessons about market readiness and consumer behavior, sparking future innovations. While some faded into obscurity, others paved the way for more refined and successful products. Failure is often part of the journey, and these misfires remind us that the next big idea could be just around the corner. Thanks for joining us on this look back at the bold innovations that didn't quite make it, but still made a mark on tech history.